Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by Genesis House, FirstNet, built with AT&T, and the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts,
Podfather, Jersey Ed,
and Noontime with Skylar Noon,
as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Friends in Recovery Podcast.com. I am the Podfather, Mike Miles, here with Jersey Ed.
Hi, guys. And it's FIR from the car, guys.
FIR from the car.
Jersey Ed here.
Or from the car.
From
and
the
you know,
car.
here's the thing. It's an old car, and the bell's ringing. I don't know why.
You heard that.
I've shut it down.
We're really from the car.
If you hear the bell, it doesn't mean anything other than, it's an old car.
We can put some rock music on.
Right?
This is what
do whatever we
recovery.
want.
This is what
That's
recovering
right.
people do.
And we've done this once before. We did an FIR from the car, Friends in Recovery from the car, and well, I guess people liked it.
People liked it. Yeah, people wanted more of this FIR from the car. We got requests, and so we're just doing it. So Skylar's not here today. She wasn't able to jump in the back seat with us.
Yeah, it would have been good. That's right.
Next time we're gonna bring you up next time, Sky. But
That's right. You can sit right here.
yeah, exactly. I would sit in the back.
Yeah.
Sky.
Oh, yeah,
You
we'll
take
put
her
Sky in the
seat.
front.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
But Ed's smoking a nice Cuban cigar.
I
I
got a
gave
Cuban
him.
today,
I
guys.
got a Dominican. This is the other thing that's good about from the car is that we can smoke cigars, because the first year we were working out of a cigar, Studio 21, a cigar store.
Yeah.
And the studio was upstairs. So we smoked 5-6 cigars the whole day.
Yeah. And that's one thing we do in recovery is you and I
Yeah.
meet and we have
We
cigars,
enjoy
we
it. We
talk
enjoy it.
recovery, and
That's right.
and that's one thing now that we're doing Zoom from home is that we can't do it, but I was able to fly up here, see you,
Yeah,
Podfather,
that's
and
right.
we're gonna do FIR from the car and smoke
Yeah.
a cigar.
And you flew up here for many reasons. And one of them was we had to get a gentleman,
Some service work.
some service work, send him down to Genesis House. It took a few days, a lot of work,
Yeah.
but I just checked with him. He's in the air. He's on his way down to Fort Lauderdale, and he's going to be met by a staff member from Genesis, and he's on his way to recovery. And this is a gentleman that not only needs recovery, but he is desiring recovery.
Yeah.
And
He wants recovery.
we helped him quell all his anxiety. We answered all his questions. Ed was right here, Johnny on the spot. We met him Tuesday. We sat and talked for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And that's service work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what brings us into our topic today, is service work.
Yep,
That's
service
what
work.
we were just talking
That's right.
about. And service work is important in recovery because it's giving back.
giving
And
back.
I was just in a meeting, and I was talking about all what we do at Genesis House and all that, and what you and I do, and the podcast. And somebody asked, "So why do you do the podcast?" Because it's because it's service work, because it's giving back.
Mhm.
And this is believe me, we don't have to sit here in a car and be freezing cold and whatever. It is an older car, the heat's not working. No, I'm just
Right.
kidding. But we're doing service work by doing this. And the other thing, Podfather, sitting here talking to you, just having a conversation with you. I'm not cold. You can turn it lower. It's probably not going to be able to. So sitting here talking to you is helps my recovery too.
Mhm.
I could probably be out doing something for business, but that doesn't get me my kind of my drop in the bucket for today.
Right.
My recovery for today.
Right.
So sitting here with you definitely helps me get that.
Right. Usually Friday's my day off, but my day started today at 5:45 when I got out of bed. I had a phone conversation with a gentleman who I dropped off at a local hospital with his walker at 12:30 this afternoon before I came to meet Ed. We think he has a broken hip.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in recovery. He's been in treatment for several times. Unfortunately, he's off the wagon now. He's boozing and drugging, but he's a great guy. I love him. And you know what? I took him to the hospital. I got his walker. I got him on his walker, brought him into the emergency room, and we'll go from there.
Yeah,
But,
to show up for him. That's all.
that's it.
That's what service work is. And
That's
maybe that next time, maybe this time he'll get the recovery. Maybe you never know. So it's service work comes in all. What else is service work? Let's go over kind of a list of stuff. Service work is chairing a meeting. Service work is
doing podcasts,
doing podcasts.
answering the phone, telling people
Yeah.
about the program.
Yeah.
listening. You know, a lot of people have family members that need help. People need help. Family members need help. Friends, loved ones. You know, I don't know anybody that doesn't have someone in their life that needs help. You know, and what better way to help somebody than to talk to a professional? And I don't mean a professional doctor or a therapist, but somebody who's been in the program, someone who's sober, someone who's gone through their own detox and then they got sober and they're sober
Their own
several
trials
months.
and tribulations.
Right.
Yeah.
So that can be a professional, another in the sense that somebody that knows how to do it, you know, and I do it for a living. I'm a therapist. Ed does it for a living, you know, his marketing and his recovery. But you know what? We collaborate all the time. Skylar, she's not with us today, but Skylar does this is what she does.
That's what she does.
You know, and service work can come in many shapes and forms, different sizes.
Just showing up at somebody's house and saying hello, just sending somebody a note. Here's perfect service work, guys. So on our FIR meetings, Friends in Recovery meetings at 12 noon and 7 p.m., Skylar started this pen friend call called Pen Friend, where you can write a letter, just say hello, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's your experience, strengths, and hopes, and mail it down to Genesis House, mail it down to one of our therapists. And one of our therapists will read it and hand it to a client that they think that might be able to. Yeah. So one of the guys who on the meeting, he wrote a letter, and the letter was received today. And Skylar calls me up like 8 o'clock this morning saying, "Oh my God, the client was there, called me and said he got the information and
made his day.
And but here's the thing: not only does that make the client's day and the therapist's day, but it also makes the guy who wrote it. And then he came on and shared it on the meeting, made all our days like, oh my God. And then everybody wanted to know about the Pen Friend thing. And, you know, cool so that's service work too. And if you want more about the Pen Friend, go to our Facebook page, Friends in Recovery Podcast or Friends in Recovery Communities. And you can see it on there too, where to write to and all that. So that's service work also. Service work can come in any kind. You can volunteer somewhere. That's service work. You know, anything with an addict or alcohol, you know, helping, giving back, giving what was so freely giving to me, I can freely give to someone else.
That's right. And, you know, this is a program of giving. You know, it's a program of taking too. You got to be a little selfish sometimes. And what I mean by that is you got to be selfish for yourself. You got to sometimes put other people's needs and wants away when you're in need and you need to get some help. Unfortunately,
sorry, we had a phone call.
Unfortunately, you know, if you're a caregiver or if you're a people person, which most of us are, you know, we're always doing for others and we put ourselves last sometimes. But when it comes to recovery, you got to put yourself first. It doesn't have to be a 365, 24/7 first, but you got to put yourself first sometimes and get the help you need. And then I have a gentleman that called me this morning. He's looking for a truck. He was sober 5 months. He ran into some problems, and what does he do? He picks up, and his drug of choice is fentanyl and heroin. You know, and there's no future in that. You know, and
there's zero future now.
I'm trying to get him back on board, but you know, day at a time. Maybe he'll come back. I hope he does.
Well, the other thing too about service work is that you and I have been around a long time, and do you remember when there was ashtrays in all the meetings? And some of you guys might not remember that, but they're doing smoke meetings. I was the ashtray guy. I couldn't stand smoking. I smoke cigars. I don't smoke cigarettes, but they were smoking cigarettes like it was like a bingo hall there. Right. You remember? Right. And I was the ashtray guy. I would have to clean the ashtrays, but I was asked to do that. And when I'm asked to do something, a door greeter, the ashtray guy, the chair guy, whatever it is, that's what service work is, and that's how it's done. You know,
my sponsor used to say there's a little bit of serenity under every ashtray, under every chair you fold and put away, under every hand you shake. You know, that's the beauty of AA. Is when I first walked into my first AA meeting, people were shaking my hands at the door, the greeters. There was coffee. There was, you know, cakes and donuts and stuff. I was just in a state of mind where I'd been sober for a short time, but I was very edgy. I was a cop. I was in my hometown going to a meeting. I was wondering if I was going to end up having a fight with somebody I might have arrested. And it was just the opposite. I met people in the program who I had arrested, and who I ended up befriending, and we end up going skiing. We end up watching Celtics games, eating pizza, going to tons of meetings. My friend Tommy Quinn, he's been sober over 30 years now, as I have, and we're still friends. We still do things together.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. We, and again, the event. We started an adventure, Friends in Recovery adventure, and we're all going hiking in 2 weeks. We're all going to go hiking in High Point, New Jersey, and
Nice.
that's service work, putting something like that together. But then getting out there and being around sober people. Like I remember when I first started, when I first got to recovery. I remember it was my sobriety day is March 14th, 1994. Yeah. And I ended up in the detox, and I remember the first thing I talked to my counselor about. I'm like, what am I going to do for New Year's? And my counselor's like, Ed, it's March. Come on, But
I know.
no, and it's so there's different things, and this adventure thing is great because there's a lot of young people,
Right.
but to see these people wanting to do this and understanding that this is going to help somebody,
Right.
not selfishly, like, look what I did. It's more of the, look what's happening for these
Right.
people. Look how these people are going to stay sober now. I think that is so great. So
I remember in early sobriety getting involved in a ride for Ryan, my friend Ryan and Carol McMahon, their son Ryan, 5th grade. He died of a brain tumor. He's a young boy, just a young 5th grade boy. And that was heartbreaking. And so we'd raise money, and every year they put it into a fund, and Ryan went to a private school. And so they started a scholarship for him. We planted a plum tree there. We put a big monument there, and everything's still there. Yeah, and I drive by and I see it now. The tree's huge.
wow.
Talking 30 years ago,
Yeah.
But my son Christopher was just a little tyke. He was about 3. And I remember having him on the back of my bike. We did a 10-speed, Schwinn 10-speed. And, we both had helmets on, and out. We went like on a 20-mile ride, 10 miles out, 10 miles back. And I just remember asking Chris all the way, "Are you all right, pal? Are you okay?" Because it was kind of a damp, cold day. It was in April. And he's like, "Yeah, Dad, I'm good. And it went by so fast. Here he is. He's 34 years old now. But I got to tell you, that was one of the first things I did sober, where it was in a group setting, and probably had one of the best days of my life.
Yeah, especially with your kid, man. That's the other thing, guys. When we get sober and we have kids involved, especially young kids, for you young guys out there, we're a little bit older, so our kids are grown, but being around for your kids, it just wasn't just amazing, Podfather, that you
Still
could.
is,
I mean, still now. I mean,
Yeah.
being around for them now. My kid's a little bit older. You're like I said, yours are too. But they still need their dad and their mom, and you need to stay sober.
Right.
And listen, just because we got some time under our belt doesn't mean that we can stop doing service work, that we can stop sponsoring people, that we can stop going to meetings. Oh, that's bullshit, man. That's something that you have to keep doing. Well, I have to keep doing. I shouldn't say you. This is my recovery, and I suggest, if you want to stay sober, that's what my sponsor told me to do. My sponsor told me to do all this stuff, and that's how it works.
And I speak to my children every day via text. My youngest daughter, she's 27. My oldest daughter is 45, and my son Chris is 34. Chris, not as much. Chris lives with his fiance. They're getting married in September. I might hit him up twice a week and just see how he's doing, because he's very busy. But my daughters, every day, every morning.
Yeah.
Good morning. How are you girls? I love you.
Yeah.
I have nicknames for my kids. My daughter, Kara's a midget. She's short. I call her midget. And if there's any midgets out there, I hope I'm not insulting you.
That's not politically correct, guys. But it's
my-
also a podcast. So.
That's right. And my oldest daughter, Michelle, I call her Doll, Doll. And, it's just, I get the best. I am so blessed. And I'm sure they'll tell anybody that will listen that they're blessed, because they got a dad who's always there. They know where to find me. I can be there no matter what they need. If I need them, they're always there too.
It's because you're sober. And
Absolutely.
the story is because
That's
we're
right.
both sober, and we can take the good with the bad. When they yell at us or whatever, because they're human beings too.
Absolutely.
They get concerned, they get worried
We all have
about
our
us.
differences.
Yeah,
sometimes,
absolutely. And it's just it's crazy. But we're gonna take a quick break here, Podfather,
Yeah, we'll be right back.
and we'll be right back.
Friends in Recovery Podcast.com. We'll be right back.
You're first. First to respond. First to put others' lives before your own. And in an emergency, you need a network that puts you first, that connects you to technology, to each other, and to other agencies. Built with and for first responders. FirstNet, the only congressionally authorized wireless network for first responders. Because putting you first is our job.
Since 1992, Genesis House has been helping real people heal from addiction on their private recovery campus in beautiful Palm Beach County, Florida. Their family-owned program is accredited by the Joint Commission and offers detox and dual diagnosis treatment in a comfortable and confidential setting. At Genesis House, they focus on treating the underlying causes of addiction. Their comprehensive approach includes psychiatric care, individual and small group therapy, trauma healing techniques, and holistic care including yoga, massage, and animal-assisted therapy. After treatment, their clients enjoy the lifelong support of a nationwide network of Genesis House alumni. Call Genesis House today at 1-800-737-0933 to speak with someone who understands. Visit them on the web at www.genesishouse.net. It's time to start your journey to a long and successful recovery.
Whenever you're ready.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. FriendsRecoveryPodcast.com. I am Mike Miles, the Podfather.
Here, Jersey Ed with Jersey Ed.
Jersey Ed. Look,
FIR.
in the flesh.
In the
right
flesh,
here.
there I am. Hey, guys.
Right, we're not computing.
No,
we're not
computing. Yeah,
No,
we're not
not
beaming
computing,
across
right.
the screen.
No satellites today.
Exactly. Hey, on the break, guys, we were just talking about, you know what?
Yep. Sober pod.
Sober pod, brother.
That's right.
And I want to just say one thing. I want to give a shout out to Tiffany, who's been very involved with all our stuff. She actually mentioned today on the Friends in Recovery 12 noon meeting, Eastern Standard Time meeting, about Carl. I'm like, what about me?
Really?
I'm like, I'm at a fucking meeting, guys. Yeah, we're talking about Carl. Let's be serious, man. But Carl, but they're doing this thing. Check out SoberPod, and they're doing this thing. The other 23. I think I mentioned it before on the show. But what are you doing the other 23 hours of your life? And,
right. That's cool.
Besides the hour that you're coming to the meeting or going to your therapist or whatever. And it's really good. So turn the dial to the right. Mike and I like going to the right.
Yeah.
And
big time.
and go check out SoberPod. So anyways, so we're talking about service work and how it gets us through things, how it helps out. The other thing too is the good feelings that it gives us. Not just the dopamine that it sends us, the helping and being there for somebody. It gives us that high that we've always tried to get artificially.
Yep, that's a good point.
And
helping others always helps me. I know that.
Yeah.
I've got my whole life dedicated, and now that I'm retired as a cop, I helped a lot of people. Being a police officer is a lot closer to being a social worker than people realize. You're many things. You're wearing one hat, but you're a lot of things. You can be a counselor. Be a marriage counselor, you can be a child therapist, you can be a first aid attendant, you can be a lot of things, but more importantly, we're there to help people. Someone said one time that COP is an acronym that's the word itself means care of people. I don't know if that's true or not. It sounds good, but other people said it means clubbing of people, So
let's stay away from that right now.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
But more importantly, you know what? I know over my 35-year career, I helped a lot of people, and believe me, it shows. I run into people all the time.
Yeah,
come up to me. I don't even know who they are. And they're telling me they remember me. I helped someone. I did this or that. Being a social worker, being a therapist, that's what we do. We help people, getting people in treatment. That's what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Show them the road.
Yeah.
You can't make somebody get better. You can't make them, but
lead by example.
I just took the words right out of my mouth.
That's it.
Lead by example. My father used to say, Mickey, I'd rather see a sermon than hear one.
Yeah.
In other words, stop talking and just do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what he meant.
Show me the money.
Right. Show me the money. Yeah, I watched that movie the other day. That's a great movie. Oh my God.
What's that? That's
Cuba Gooding. What a great actor. I have more respect for him. Tom Cruise, we know he's great.
Yeah.
Cuba Gooding, I'll tell you, what a great part for him. He did such a great job. I'll tell you, I was rewinding it, kept watching certain scenes. That Show Me the Money was friggin' great. I loved it. And his wife was off the charts too.
Now Friends in Recovery are reviewing movies now.
That's right.
This is our part-time job. Thumbs up.
What was his name? Seaver and Herb?
Oh yeah, what was their
Herbert
names? God,
I know.
you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They were from Chicago.
Yeah, Sherbert and Hebert.
Yeah. Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah,
Siskel and Ebert.
I'll be the fat one. You can be the.
You're not fat anymore, Podfather.
You can
I'll be the skinny guy.
Right.
But sir, here's the thing about service work, guys, and this is what I get the kick out of it. And it doesn't matter who does it. It's just a matter of how it's done and the effect it had on somebody. Right. I don't care who did the service work. When you see somebody come on and say, I'm sober another day. And I don't care how many days, how many years, how many months, whatever it is. Correct. When somebody says, I'm sober, I made it through. I laid my head on the pillow last night, and I went to sleep sober. And I haven't done that in years or whatever it might be, whatever their thing is. I was able to be there for my family. I love hearing that because that's a direct cause of service work. And that's it. Somebody speaking to their sponsor. That's somebody being there for them. That's somebody cup of coffee before the COVID shit, going out for a cup of coffee. I remember Podfather, and this brings me back to the cigarette stuff. We would go to a meeting, 7:00 meeting in Seville, New Jersey. Was my home group at in South River, New Jersey.
Yeah, was there any White Castles down there?
Yeah, there was White Castles. White Castles. We would go to White Castles afterwards.
Nice.
But we would go to a diner afterwards.
Yeah.
And it'd be a group of us. And I was brand new in recovery. Yeah. Man. I'm like, what are these people going to a diner for? What do they want from me?
Right.
I'm just brand new at this. I don't know shit. Why do they want me at this table?
Right.
What am I going to give these people that are sober that asked me to jump in their car with them?
Right.
I didn't even know them, and I'm jumping in the car with them.
Yep.
And then we go to a diner. They didn't ask me to pay. They told me to have a cup of coffee, and they told me to talk.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do I know? What does Ed Chacho know, the Jersey Ed know that's going to help them? Well, there was a lot because, first of all, they never wanted to be back where I was. Right. That's number one. And number two, they're giving back. They were giving me something. I wasn't giving them something. Yep. They were giving me something. Some of the
best memories I have of early recovery in the late 80s, early 90s was I had a big Buick LeSabre, and I'd drive a bunch of people. To a meeting, and people from all walks of life. And of course, being a local cop, I went to meetings in the city, and I see some of my fellow police officers. I have a carload of people that some of them with questionable backgrounds, and they think they were thinking I was being kidnapped or something, But we'd have a meeting in the car. We'd drive to us, we'd do a commitment. It'd be 6 or 7 of us. We'd go to another town and do a commitment, and we'd have a meeting on the way to the commitment, have a meeting at the commitment, have a meeting on the way back. And that's how I got sober. I'd laugh my ass off. I felt good. I couldn't believe that without any cocaine, any booze, any weed, anything, that I was actually connected to life, loving life, going home, seeing my young family, playing with my son. Arlene and I would barbecue something outside. We lived downtown, Lowell, and it was just wonderful. Wonderful. I'm telling you, the early sobriety was so good. And you know what I learned in early sobriety? What you're talking about, giving back, the 12th step, giving back. Yeah. And I've been giving back since then. I've never stopped. Yeah. And that's why I feel like God's blessed me in many ways. I'm far from wealthy, but I'm wealthy in other ways.
Exactly. We're wealthy in our recovery. We're blessed to do this. Absolutely. And Podfather, you're not just talking, we're near Podfather's building right there, where his office is. And he's not talking about what he does inside that building. He does a lot of work inside that building, a lot of giving back. But I know what he does outside those 4 walls, outside, that nobody knows. Nobody knows what he does. He doesn't talk about it, doesn't make the news, the people who he helps. So he was just talking about the guy earlier, taking him to the hospital. The guy's one of us, and that's giving back, and that helps me. That made it worth the trip to come here and talk to you.
Well, look what you did. I mean, Ed flew up here from Jersey. We got a guy that we double teamed Tuesday. We met him. We got him to go get the help he needs, talk to his family. It's been a lot of work. You've done most of it. All I did was pick up the phone and call you. So, I mean, I don't know a lot of people that would fly, rent a car, come here. I know you have work to do as well, but, without any hesitation, zero hesitation. Not like little resistance, like, oh, Mike, I got to do this. Nope. Where? What time? I'll be there. Then he shows up. And I know just from experience that you're going to get this guy to go. I had no doubt in my mind. I feel like I'm Italian here with my hands.
Yeah, I'm the Italian. You're the
I know.
Irish one.
I know.
I'm supposed to be doing this.
I had no doubt in my mind that you were going to get our friend, we'll call him Joe, to go away. Joe's on a plane right now. He just thanked me about 20 minutes ago. His ex-wife thanked me. His family thanked me. You know what? I said, listen, it's thanking the wrong guy. Thank Jersey Ed. He's the one who did all the work.
No, you got to thank the people who taught us that, Mike. The people who instilled this in us. That's who, because we only do what we're taught. Like my sponsor said, when you sponsor somebody, Eddie, because I took on a sponsee and I haven't had a sponsee in a long time.
Right.
He said, just do what I taught you.
Right.
Because the way I taught you is the way my sponsor taught me. And that is it. That's how we do it. And only that I can say is that's how I was told. That's how I was taught.
You know, it's funny too, is being sober, you know, there's a lot of things I can't do. I can't be a thief. I can't be a liar. I feel guilty. I get that Irish guilt if I lie to somebody, even strangers. You know, I see a guy stemming money at the side of the road. I go, oh shit. You know, I look around for a buck or some change. You know, I just feel like I should be doing this. You know, and you know, I know a guy in treatment. In recovery, who I just sent me an email the other day for a seminar, $1,500. I'm like, what are you kidding me? $1,500? That's what I pay for my cars. I'm not spending $1,500 to listen to you talk for 2 days. Good luck, you know. And that type of behavior, as far as I'm concerned, is not conducive with sobriety and helping people. So, but anyway, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, I get it. I understand. Well, that's how we stay sober, and that's how this service thing works. And you know, service work to me, if I can wrap it up here, you know, and then if you want to wrap it up too, but service work to me is the heart and soul, is really the heartbeat of this program. Because without service work, we wouldn't be able to reach out to another human being. We wouldn't be able to see that struggling newcomer that walked in the door. We wouldn't be able to sit in the parking lot like we're doing today, or that coffee shop, or the meeting after the meeting. We wouldn't be able to do that. And you know what? It's a selfish program, and I love doing that after those meetings. I love taking people out. I love sitting there talking to them, because it helps me, Podfather. It helps me. And I know it's helping them too. I know that hands down it's helping them. But if I can't stay sober, I can't help anybody, you know? And that's my thoughts on service work.
Well, I also think, you know, I'm really into the steps. We're always into the steps, the long year in sobriety. And if you're not into the steps, that's fine. But whatever's working for you, great. But you know what? You're cheating yourself if you don't get involved with the steps, because it really is a way of life, and it's second to none. But the 12 step is all about giving back. You cannot keep this gift of sobriety if you don't share it or give it back. And it doesn't mean you're going to break out or pick up. No, it just means you're not going to have in your heart what I have in my heart, what Ed's talking about, the feeling you get when you help somebody, and you're asking for nothing in return. Just listen to me. You can take my advice. You don't have to take it. But if you do, I guarantee your life will get better. You know?
Absolutely. And that's the key. Your life will get better, because the way we used to do things is not the way we need to be doing things. And again, it's what was passed on to us. We can pass it on. Because if we all stop doing this, if we all stop giving back, there'd be no program left, you know? That's it. You're right. The 12 step is the most important thing. Guys, this is a great show, Podfather. FIR from the car. We get to smoke a little some cigars here, like we haven't done in a while, and some good mindless chatter. We didn't even know what we were going to talk about, and that's what came out, guys. So
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll listen to it.
Absolutely. You know? So, Podfather.
Hey, listen, friendsinrecoverypodcast.com. Stay sober, everyone.
Yep, stay sober.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Thanks to Genesis House, FirstNet, built with AT&T, for supporting those on the path to recovery and keeping this valuable resource free for all our friends in recovery. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Brought to you by Genesis House and the Friends in Recovery. If you can't get enough of Mike, the Podfather, Jersey Ed, and Skylar, you can catch them on Answering the Call, the First Responders Podcast, available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and GenesisHouse.net.